everybody, my name is Gisselle Manahan and my partner's name is Mr. Alex Naling. He will discuss later at the middle of the topic. Anyway, we are from Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management 2nd year Section 1, and for today's video, we are encouraging you to listen carefully because we are sure that you can get an information about Rizal because this topic is all about Scholastic triumphs at Ateneo de Manila. So please sit properly, be ready, and we are going to start this topic. But before that, we put an informative video that will surely help to give another information. Let's watch this.
Rizal's education in Ateneo entered in the age of 11 from 1872 to 1877. Rizal was an externo or non-boarders and became the emperor after a few months. And after becoming 4th year, he became an interno or boarders. For Rizal, his best professor and scholar is Reverend Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez. His advisors are Reverend Father Jose Villaclara, Romualdo de Jesus, and Agustin Saez. Rizal is known for his excellence in all subjects, won tons of gold medal like in Latin, academic gold medal, and second best in Tribune.
I have a trivia for you. Did you know that Ateneo de Manila began in 1859 with 3 Jesuit priests and a brother taking over the Escuela Municipal, a small private school for 33 children of Spanish residents? The escuela eventually became the Ateneo Municipal de Manila in 1865 when it became an institution of secondary education. Let's proceed to that discussion. Rizal enters the Ateneo on June 10, 1872 for the entrance exam. He used Rizal as his surname instead of Mercado because his family name Mercado had become under the suspicion of Spanish authorities. Rizal boarded in the house outside Intramuros on Caraballo Street. Titay, as painter, owned the boarding house and owed the Rizal's family the amount of 300 pesos. Jesuit system of education promotes physical culture, humanities and scientific studies, vocational courses on agriculture, commerce, mechanics, and surveying. They also train the student by rigid discipline and religious instruction. Another trivia. Did you know that students under Jesuit system of education were divided into 2? These are the Roman Empire, which is also called internos or boarders, and Carthaginian Empire, which is also called externos, which means non-boarders. Each empire had its rank: best student, emperor; second best, tribune; third best, decurion; fourth best, centurion; and 5 best is standard bearer. Another trivia. At that period, students could challenge any officer in his empire to answer questions on the day's lesson. Fail your answer correctly 3 times, an officer could lose his position. Let's proceed to another discussion. Rizal's time war uniform was consisted of hemp fabric, trousers, and striped cotton coat. The coat material was called rayadillo, which became late famous for it adapted as the uniform for Filipino troops during the days of the First Philippine Republic. Rizal's first year in Ateneo was on June 1872. His first professor was Father Jose Beck. He was tall, thin man with a body slightly bent forward, a hurried walk, an ascetic face, severe and inspired small deep sunken eyes, a sharp nose, and thin lips. Rizal was an external and was assigned to Carthaginians, and at the end of the month, he became emperor because he was the brightest pupil in the class. Aside from that, he took private lesson in Santa Isabel College and paid 3 pesos for extra Spanish lesson. He placed second at the end of the year, although his grades were marked excellent. Let's proceed on his summer vacation on 1873. Rizal turned to Calamba for summer vacation. His sister Neneng Saturnina brought him to Tanawan to cheer him up. Visited his mother in prison in Santa Isabel. After vacation, he returned to Manila for his second year term in Ateneo. He boarded inside Intramuros at number 6 Magallanes Street. Doña Pipay was his landlady, an old widow with widow daughters and 4 sons. Rizal's second year in Ateneo during 1873 to 1874. He studied harder and once more he became an emperor after losing his class leadership. He had 3 classmates from Binyan who had also been his classmate in the school of Maestro Historiano. At the end of the school year, he received excellent grade in all subjects and a gold medal. Another trivia. Did you know that during his summer vacation in Calamba, during 1874, he got interest in reading? His favorite novel was entitled The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, the historical work of Cesar Cartos entitled Universal History, and by a German scientist traveler, Dr. Fyodor Hagor, entitled Travels in the Philippines. Now, let's talk about third year in Ateneo during 1874 to 1875. On June 1874, Rizal returned to Ateneo shortly after the opening of the classes. His mother was released from prison. In the previous year, Rizal did not make an excellent showing in his studies. He failed to win the medal in Spanish because his spoken was not fluently sonorous, but his grade in all subjects remained excellent. While on March 1875, Rizal was returned to Calamba for summer vacation. Let's proceed to 4th year of Rizal in Ateneo. It was on June 16, 1875. Another trivia for you. Did you know that Rizal became an interno during this time? Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez inspired him to study harder and write poetry about model of uprightness, earnestness, and love of advancement of his pupil. Rizal won 5 medals during this time. Another trivia. During his last year in Ateneo, he was truly the pride of Jesuits because he obtained highest grade in all subjects and he graduated with highest honor. He got excellent scholastic record from 1872 to 1877. On March 23, 1877, it was their commencement day. Received the degree of Bachelor of Arts with highest honor. Let's talk about his extracurricular in Ateneo. He was an emperor inside the classroom and campus leader outside. He became a secretary of the Marian congregation and a member of Academy Spanish Literature and Academy of Natural Sciences. Aside from that, he studied painting under the famous Spanish painter Agustin Saez and sculpture under Romualdo de Jesus, noted Filipino sculptor. Another trivia, did you know that Rizal also engaged in gymnastics and fencing? He continued physical training to begin with his sports-minded Tio Manuel, and aside from that, he made a sculpture in Ateneo. He carved an image of the Virgin Mary and Sacred Heart of Jesus.
My name is Alex Naling of BSHM 2-1. Okay, let us discuss about the sculptural works of Rizal in Ateneo. Did you know that Rizal carved an image of the Virgin Mary on a piece of batikuling? Batikuling is the Philippine hardwood, and if you can see, this image is the Virgin Mary that created by Rizal. And because of that, the Jesuit father were amazed for what Rizal did. and Father Leonard requested to Rizal to carve for him an image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. But unfortunately, the image of Rizal kid was forgot to take the image with him to Spain. That is why the Ateneo boarding student placed the image on the door of the dormitory and remained there for so many years. So let's move on to anecdotes on Rizal the Ateneo. This is Felix M. Ramos. He's one of the Rizal contemporaries in Ateneo. He is related to an incident of Rizal's school days in Ateneo, which reveals the hero's resignation to pain and forgiveness. And this is Manuel Serix Burgos, whose house Rizal boarded shortly before he became an interno in Ateneo. They are both loved to write poems when they were in Ateneo. And let me share you some poems. These are one of the poems that written by Rizal. Mi Primera Inspiración, which is the first poem of Rizal, and he probably wrote it during his day in Ateneo. Mi Primera Inspiration is in English, my first inspiration. This was dedicated to his mother on her birthday. And here's some trivia. Rizal wrote it when he was 14 years old. You see, a 14 years old know how to write a poem? Year of 1875, Rizal was inspired by Father Sanchez. He wrote so many poems, and let me show you again those poems. Those are Felicitación, or in English, Felicitation. El Embarque, Himno a la Flota de Magallanes, or in English, The Departure, Hymn to Magallanes Fleet. Y Español, El Cano, el primero en dar la vuelta al mundo, or in English, El Cano, the first to circumnavigate the world. And last, El Combat or Bestundo, Terror di Jolo, or in English, The Battle or Bestundo, Terror of Jolo. Year of 1876, Rizal wrote poems on various topics like on religion, education memories, and for war. On education, he wrote Through Education, the Country Reserve Light, which means education plays in the progress and welfare of nation, and it showed that education without God is not through education. On religion, he wrote Al Niño Jesus, or in English, The Child of Jesus. He wrote this when he was 14 years old, which means he is expressing his Catholic faith devotions. Dramatic work of Rizal in Ateneo. Father Sanchez is one of Rizal's favorite teachers, and Father Sanchez requested to Rizal to write a drama that based on prose story of Saint Eustace the Martyr, and he finished it on June 2, 1876, with the entitled of San Eustacio Martyr. Let us move on to the first girl he loved of Jose Rizal. Here is some trivia about the first relationship of Rizal. Rizal expresses first love to the lock girl named Segunda Katigbak. She is the prettiest girl in town. She was only 14 years old when he met Rizal. She is a Batangueña from Lipa, Batangas. On Sunday, Rizal visited to his maternal grandmother in Turzo, Manila, with his friend Marciano Katigbat. Segunda is an attractive girl. She is a mysterious girl that caused palpitate of Rizal's heart. Mother encouraged him to draw Segunda portraits, but unfortunately, Segunda was already engaged to Manuel Luz. That is why Rizal stopped to love Segunda. Later on, when Segunda turned to Lipa, Batangas, she got married to Manuel Luz. Okay, so this is the end of the scholastic triumphs at Ateneo de Manila of Jose Rizal.